Small modular reactors. What are they? Well, they are smaller nuclear reactors that are designed to be transported to a site, fueled there, and then plugged into an electrical grid very efficiently. The economic idea behind them is that if a big gigawatt nuclear power plant takes so long and is so expensive to make, then making them cheaper and smaller with new developments in nuclear design would minimize financial risk and allow for a more scalable production. Lots of private investment, government support, and media coverage has been made about these startups developing them around the globe, and many are hedging their bets on SMRs to start the fabled nuclear renaissance. But I disagree.
Why are you so fucking negative all the time?
Hey, listen. It would be so easy to look at all the corporate websites and obviously biased industry web pages and just repeat their seemingly inconsequential, insanely optimistic viewpoints in a video format and keep all the nuclear piggies happy and fat. But doing easy things is boring. So let's talk about why SMRs are getting all this hype in the first place. So in terms of global energy, things are looking weird. Coal is statistically dominant, but climate agreements and the coal industry itself endlessly stagnating means that industry is due for a phasing out in the next couple of decades, hopefully. Thank God. Its main fossil fuel replacement is natural methane gas, especially due to fracking techniques making it abundant in new places like America. Green energy sources like wind and solar have been picking up the pace as well, but they can't pick up exactly where coal leaves off due to the downtime inherent to their sources. It's not always sunny, it's not always windy, and not every location can store potential energy for these like dams. But you know, it's 2021. We are getting there. Some of the largest companies in the world are reporting decreasing emissions, and maybe neoliberal regimes can fight climate change. Wait, no, we need power, more electricity. Looks as if we just fucking bash up all these graphics cards and shit. We can make them think and pattern recognize if we feed them all the images and text and facial data and fucking everything. This AI can fucking do anything. All investment. More money, and energy, and fucking blood and death, and fucking money, all the money in the world, all the electricity to this fucking stupid fucking AI. I hate it, and I need to make more of it. It can do anything. Chatbots and fucking African children, coke bottle horse, and fucks from AI. Yeah, so very recently, a new industry really wants all the electricity it can get. AI, specifically AI from data centers in places like the United States. They can use dozens and even hundreds of megawatts of energy, and quite plainly, the United States is not prepared for that. As we speak, several state and local governments are making huge choices in terms of what to do with their energy amid rapid data center construction. Connecticut has a bill asking for centers to run on 50% renewables. Oregon is trying to change rate classifications. Texas is trying to make a data center energy kill switch to avoid another Winter Storm Uri situation. And you know shit's bad when Texas is trying to regulate a private industry. So it's pretty clear that if these giant corporations want their precious NVIDIA mines, they themselves need to cough up more electrical capacity from somewhere. Enter small modular reactors, or SMRs. No, not ASMR. They have lots of qualities that data centers would want. They can supply them behind the meter, allowing some data centers to not even work with the local utility companies. Some designs that use molten salt as a heat transfer medium in the reactor minimizes the use of water, which is the other major bottleneck for data centers. Their modularity would allow the center to expand at whatever rate it so chooses. The one advantage that these corporations want you to think about is that the energy is clean, which it is. The reactor would pretty efficiently make up the CO2 costs it took to create it by generating that much CO2-free electricity. And unlike lame-old libtarded solar and wind, there is this cool industrial sci-fi big energy look to it that conservatives can get behind. So this all sounds like a win-win deal, right? The evil corporate pedophiles get their shitty Ghibli AI filters and Palantir facial rape technology, and we can count it out as a cause for droughts and huge hurricanes. Except SMR deployment would take decades, and these companies want power now. So they are going to use coal and methane gas anyways. They supported and probably got Trump in office to do just that. One of the earliest things he did was sign off on a $500 billion AI investment deal, and his Department of Energy has been pushing methane gas and coal and SMRs all at the same time, even though they would all be rather contradictory. Pennsylvania has the biggest methane gas plant in the world being built right now to purely run data centers, with any municipal benefits being an afterthought. The Department of Energy is posting literal coal right now. Fuck yeah, big tech is ignoring their own climate goals and cooperating with the federal government to burn as much coal and methane as possible to power data centers in order to do what, really? Like, what is the value in this? Well, thankfully, we have this handy Harvard Business Review chart showcasing the top 10 commercial AI use cases in 2025. It came out only recently. Let's see. Healthier living, creativity, improving code, fun and nonsense, generating ideas, generating code, enhanced learning, finding purpose, organizing my life, therapy, companionship. Okay, so that's the super epic stuff the AI future has in store. Now, you could say, well, Guy, if that is what most generative AI is used for, it seems like it's just asking the machine for advice and not actually, innovating or changing anything substantially, and the massive support and investment for AI must be a bit oversized compared to the actual usefulness of the technology, right? And yeah, you're right, actually. Let's just take a moment and list out the major AI corporations and their addresses and the names and faces of their CEOs so we can send them well-worded letters asking why they abandoned their climate goals and are ruining the environment and our future habitability of the planet for shitty web services. Yeah, that's why. OpenAI, 1515 3rd Street, San Francisco, California, 94158. CEO is Sam Altman. Anthropic, 548 Market Street, San Francisco, California. CEO Dario Amodei. Microsoft, which is actually like two services. There's Microsoft Azure AI and Microsoft Copilot, which used to be Bing Chat, lol, weird. But Microsoft actually works with and has their products based off ChatGPT and OpenAI. That's the old capitalism is super actually full of competition, and there's totally not large-scale oligarchical collusion going on. Nope. So we'll just go with Azure since they handle the data center portion. 1 Microsoft Way, Redmond, Washington, 98052. Why the fuck do these look like swastikas? Satya Nadella. NVIDIA Corp. 2788 San Thomas Expressway, Santa Clara, California, 95051. Jensen Huang. Alphabet Incorporated, 1600 Amphitheater Parkway in Mountain View, California, aka Google AI, Sundar Pichai. Amazon.com Incorporated, mainly Amazon Web Services, the closest thing right now to an IRL Arasaka Corporation, 10 Terry Avenue North, Seattle, Washington, 98105-5210. Matt Garman. Meta Platforms, aka Meta AI 770, Broadway, New York, 10003. Mark Zuckerberg, obviously, but also Joel Pinot, which leads the AI research part of their company. Yeah, so if you have any complaints about, your children becoming suicidally obsessed with a character AI chatbot, or your grandparents being scammed by some AI voice call, take it up with those people. SMRs aren't technically a bad technology, but the investment we are seeing is not going to actually bring us any nuclear renaissance. It's just a new way for giant corporations to exploit an energy source for their private gains, to the extent that smaller civil administrations are fighting legal battles to regulate them. SMRs have their use, but so do traditional nuclear power plants, and both should be used to replace all sources of baseline power, not just to be an addendum home to them. Right now, we are seeing the federal government put its weight behind coal and methane gas now and SMRs later, which is blatantly counterintuitive to whatever reason you could have to be pro-nuclear, aka clean baseline energy. These people don't care about a nuclear renaissance, they care about making as much money as possible by developing power sources that can run a data center without any form of public infrastructure that they don't want to maintain. So what is my hope here? Well, realistically, the only way all this AI investment is gonna end is just to see it run its course. Every company may be slapping AI on everything at this moment, but the hype train these companies have led the people who say shit like, large language models are more profound than fire, or that they're comparable in scale with the Industrial Revolution, or even electricity, or maybe even the wheel, doesn't gel with the lack of profitability from commercial AI. Like just recently, OpenAI said that saying please and thank you to ChatGPT is wasting millions of dollars in processing power. This industry is heavily subsidized, and at some point either the companies will charge more or consumers will drop it. So hopefully AI is a bubble that pops, and millions of guys with the word founder in their Twitter bios will lose all their money. Nuclear power shouldn't be this side thing we engage with to help power data centers in the middle of bumfuck nowhere to avoid paying utility companies and property taxes. No, they should be what we power entire cities with, because then the forces of capital would, have some vested interest in maintaining the country and indirectly helping people, and that goes against their bottom lines. As for SMRs, again, there are plenty of good uses for smaller nuclear reactors, but if America and other countries want to get serious about nuclear power, they will need to take it seriously with large plants for municipal human needs, and not leave it to the whims of the free market. And also, like starting yesterday, they should work on the long-term breeding of nuclear fuel. Yes, that's right, breeding. There are these things called breeder reactors. We will need these since the Earth has only so much nuclear fuel. No, seriously, we need to start breeding programs to create more radioactive material. Hey, are you listening? I am saying we have to breed. We have to breed right now. We have to breed.